one thing that bugs me when I look at a YouTube video that's going to be fairly technical, at least allow me to put together a skill that's going to be valuable to me, is to waste it with a ton of introduction about who I am, how great I am, all the things that I've done, is I just want to jump right to it. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to give you a taste of what you can do with Zoho MCP and Claude, connecting the two of those. So it's not going to be overly technical because everything we do is more about the regular person, and especially this one's probably geared more towards salespeople. And so AI, if we look at it, we don't want to replace people, we want to augment people. So we want everybody to learn how to use AI to their benefit every single day. How can they maximize their time? One of the biggest things I remember when I was an early sales rep is researching the people that I'm going to be talking to. It would take hours and upon hours to research about that person and about their company, and then decide, does it make sense? Should we call them? Should I email them? Whatever. So what I put together is a connection between Zoho CRM and Claude using what's called an MCP server. I'll spare you what that stands for. It's irrelevant, really. You don't need to know the acronym. But what we're going to do is anytime a lead, let's say on a 24-hour schedule, new leads that come in, we did this actually personally for ourselves in Edkins Group as we get new leads coming in to verify and kind of rate the probability of working them based on the ICP, or ideal client profile, ideal customer profile. And so I realize now this is a long introduction, but the idea is with this is a new lead comes in, and what it will do overnight is it will look up the company, where they're from, it'll look up the person, it'll look up any reference of them, posts that they've made on social media, it'll look at what their temperament is, their sentiment, it'll look at the company, it'll look at the reviews, it'll look at the business model, and then what it does is it's going to look at that based on what you offer as a service or a product and identify if it's worth your time. And it's a comprehensive result. And also the last thing it does is it also updates your CRM records, relevant fields. It'll update that as well. So next part is we're going to show you what it does as a result, and then we'll get into how to put it together. Also in the description below, we have the Zoho Academy membership, and we have the Zoho Academy course linked below. The course and the Academy are the same price. So the membership is one price, the same price as what the course is. And what do you get? Why would you want to spend money on it or invest money on it? Is because we provide three skills documents. So all you have to do, you can kind of learn how to put this together, but we basically provide you a shortcut that if you get that, you can just upload those skills, maybe do a little tweaks for your particular business, what your business model is, and then boom, like within 5 minutes, you could start doing this now. So anyways, if you like this kind of content, of course, like, subscribe, etc. Leave a comment below how you're using AI or how this may have helped you out. Looking forward to helping you. So to show you quickly here what we're going to put together. So you can see this is a Zoho CRM. It's their standard page layout. We don't have canvas on this one, so it looks just regular. But what I want to show you is, let's say the new lead came in. It's this guy, David Edkins with the Edkins Group. Here's his email. This new lead comes in, as you can see up here, lead. What it's going to do is this skill is going to run on a schedule using CoWork within Claude. So every day at 2 a.m., you want to run your schedules typically overnight because there's a less draw and you have to use less tokens. So we could probably explain tokens and all that stuff later on, but for now, depending on your volume, it should be fine with just the $20 Claude account, because you do need cohort and to be able to run the schedules, and that comes with the paid version where it's currently $20 a month. Okay, so what happens, this comes in and overnight it's going to run this schedule, which is going to run the skill to look up the person and the company. And what it does, it creates a note. So you can see up here, notes. Scroll down and you can see how comprehensive this note is. The background of the company, how long it's been around, BBB, there's none for us. I haven't paid for that. So you can see that here's the business model. This is what we do. Contact overview, career background, shows that. It runs all of this and spits it out. So you can see personality and communication style, contact data notes, phone numbers I've had and currently have, social media presence, how they found us. That's going to show up in there. The current tech stack. Now this makes sense because of the business background of what this account has. Is looking up a match for like a partner. Stated needs, there's none stated. Inferred needs based on the model, opportunity notes, and the lead status and record info. So you can see this is the output. So you can quickly assess how does it make sense and how does it fit within what we offer. So this new lead comes in, you can pretty much see that. And then what we can do is create more tweaks to it so that we can actually do some ratings or something. So right now we've got it where it's going to generate this information. We'll probably do another video that'll be more specific of how to tweak certain things and get more relevant additional data. I wouldn't say relevant because this is clearly a great background, and it doesn't take much to put this together. And you can see here it updated some records too, so some information that was in here. That's basically what we're going to put together. So the next steps, we're going to say, let's get the MCP that's in Zoho set up, get Claude set up, get the two connected, and we'll get this so that you can use them by the end of it. Let's create the MCP server that we can then connect to Claude. So we're going to go into, if you have Zoho 1, MCP is included in your Zoho 1 subscription, so you don't have to pay anything extra for it, which is pretty exciting. So you just type in mcp.zoho.com. That'll take you to the MCP console. I will mention that the reverse can happen, meaning in Claude you can make a connection. And when I switch over to do the Claude piece of it, I'll show you what that looks like. You can make a connection to Zoho CRM. It is kind of a built-in connection, but it's not as comprehensive as doing it this way. So when you launch the MCP server from Zoho, there's a plethora of different actions that you can take, and I'll show you that here in a second. So when you get to this page, the first time you get to the page, you're not going to have this because you would not have any MCP servers, and I can't recall what the page looks like. It probably has some like welcome thing here in the middle. I'm going to leave this for now just because it's already created, but how you'd create a new one is go over here, create MCP server, and you can see there's some pre-configured ones. I wouldn't worry about any of these. I would just go and create a new MCP server, so we'll do that. I'm going to name it simply test. And you can look how simple this is. What could be complex on the back end is pretty simple here. So tools, what that is what apps and functionality do you want this MCP server to have? As you can see here, Zoho CRM is the top one. And as you scroll through, there's so many other Zoho apps, and we'll have other lessons that'll go into these different things and different use cases and how you can connect the two and use AI to go between them and all that. But for right now, we're just going to keep this simple. And we're going to look at Zoho CRM. And you can see here's all these 1,051 different actions that you can do. And so when you come in here, let's say I'd highly recommend no delete functionality initially. That's just something I wouldn't say I don't trust it just yet, but I haven't done enough testing with it, and I've always been very cautious of deleting anything. Okay, so get is pretty safe. So if you want to get things, so you can get sandbox, you can get fields. I'm sure I've been scrolling through this, and I had here get accounts record. You can get leads records. So there's a ton. Look at there's 1,000 of them. So I'll save you from going through all those. But that's what you do is add the tools. Now I'm going to flip over to the other one just so you can see how the next steps would be. So the other one that I had created that was already existing before I created that one, you can see I have two tools here, and then the CRM, and here's some of the elements that I had selected. And you can add more tools. So this doesn't have to be just CRM. It can be a bundle of different things. As you can see here, I've got CRM and Notebook together. And so the Notebook one has just one reference of here, what action you can do. The CRM has more. So once you've got your tools and you've selected your actions you want to be able to do using Claude, is you come over here to connect, and you get this server ID. You just copy that, and then what that's going to do is connect to, when we go over to Claude, we're going to put that in and create a connection in Claude. So that's the next step. So this is pretty easy. We have a PDF that shows which ones we selected to do this. So go look at that. That's a handout. in this lesson. If this is on YouTube, then you don't have the handout. That's actually in the actual course that is in Zoho Academy. If you paid for a membership or you paid for the course, that handout is in there. But let's go on to the next step. So as mentioned in the previous section, is you could originate a connection with Zoho CRM from within Claude. So we're in Claude right now. It's easy to open up a Claude account, Claude.ai, and just create an account. And then it's going to be a free plan, and then they have upgraded plans. So Pro, let's see, monthly is $20, your annual is $17. For this one, we're going to need this to run a schedule. You don't need it to just one-off do research on a record that's in the CRM, a lead or a contact. But if you want it to run a schedule overnight for any new leads that come in, then you would need this plan to be able to use co-work and scheduling. So I'll go back. Okay. Now connections. So over here you've got customize, connectors, and if I do the plus sign up here, I can browse connectors. So ignore the one that's already here because we'd already pre-populated that one. So let's go to the plus. Let's say you had no connectors and you said, hey, I want to create a connection to Zoho CRM. You can browse connectors. Let's see if I click this. There we go. And I go to search connectors. And I put in Zoho. It's really slow. There we go. So here you can see CRM project. There's a few, but it's not, this one is the custom one. So you would see these ones, but they're limited. They don't have the 1,051 different actions in it. It's more limited with what you can do. So that's why I recommend starting from Zoho and just creating the MCP server there and then connecting it over here. So I'll show you how to do that now. So if we're in connectors and we go plus, see, adding a custom connector, because I'm on the free right now, just for the sake of putting this together, I can't add another custom connector. Let me see, can I edit this one? Let me see. Maybe, yeah, I'll just remove it. So I'm going to remove it, and we'll just create a new one. So add custom connector. You can see that that's an option now. If you're in the paid version, then you can put more custom. I don't know what the limit is, but you can put more custom connectors with the paid version. So as you can see, I could only, on the free version, only have one. Anyway, so let's put this as Zoho CRM. Now here's the remote MCP server URL. It's as easy as this. I go back over to Zoho MCP, and here's that URL right there. I just copy it, come over here, paste it, and add. Okay, and so what it did, I'm glad that I kind of redid this so you can see it. So all the ones in the tools that we had here, so all these options, if you look at these, they show up in Claude. So all of those same options show up here. And they're segmented by read-only, which is very safe because you're not changing anything. And then write and delete. So you can see we've got creating records, creating notes, execute a query, a COCO query, updating. I mean, that could be dangerous, but it's not as dangerous as a delete. But that's where you can see they're kind of separated out. Now, what you need to do next, it isn't super intuitive, but if you look on the right-hand side, it would normally have it all set to these needs approval, the little hand that would be up. But because it remembered that I'd already had this connection, it just remembered what I had before. And so here's a notebook one. That was one I added later. And so it automatically has this until you give it approval. So you always allow it, or you say, no, I'm going to wait on that one. Creating fields, we did add that as an option, but we just have that on hold. We don't need to do anything with it. We're not doing anything with accounts or deals right now. Email drafts, we're not doing any of that. Updating a field is something that we're going to do later on. Updating the leads record. So you can see these are all given approval, or you can block it and say, don't do that. So I'm glad we kind of had to redo this. So that connector is now set up and ready to go. That's all we need to do there. And then I think we're going to go on to skills next. So let's get a skill going. Okay, so skills are in that same area that we had the connector. So we can see connectors here, and you can see skills. So as an example, the one that we created, that again, if you're watching this on YouTube, you can look through, scan through what I show you here. Part of Zoho Academy and the membership or bought the course is you'd have 3 of these skills that you could just upload into your own Claude and then just build off of that. So we're going to look at this one as an example. So you can see, ask the user for a CRM record, and then look it up in the CRM and thoroughly research the person and company online and write a detailed summary note. So if I look at edit, you can see skill name, description, and instructions. And you can see the amount of instructions that are here. Now, what's cool is that we had AI help us build this out so that no human had to type out all of this. This is something that, based on a little back and forth that we had in chat. So what we did is originally started with a chat that, because we knew it was connected to the CRM, is we could start saying, hey, pull up a record. And it would pull up a record. And you say, okay, research the company, and then research the person. And then it would come back with some, maybe 2 paragraphs of something. And it was a little generic. So I was like, okay, let's dig a little deeper. Let's look into this. Let's look at business models. Let's look at these pieces. And so by doing that, then ultimately that chat, we said, can you turn that into instructions for a skill? And that's what it did. Once we got it refined down to what you could pull as those files in Zoho Academy, is you could see the lengthy kind of instructions that go with it. And then that's a good core foundation to start with that you can build off of it. So the skill, again, if we go back to it, take a look, is just the instructions. So step 1, ask the user for a record identifier. So the way this one was set up is it would ask, like if I go back to chat and I say, and you look at the chat that says, I just built this skill, you could say, let's get started. And it'll probably ask me for an ID or an email address or something like that. And then it would go through this whole process of studying that record and providing the feedback or details back. So I'm going to press pause for a second here. I'm going to see if I can think of somebody that we could look up. So hold on a sec. I thought of somebody I've come across recently here, so we plugged him in. Originally, all I did is plug in the company, his name, and then the website. That's all I plugged in. So what I'm going to do is take this ID and come in here and create a new chat. And you can see I just added this skill, so you can see what this skill is going to do based on those instructions. You know what? Let me see. I think I have a note. There's already a note in here. Let me see if I can remove this note, and we'll create a new one. Okay. So it's just if you want to do a one-off one. Let's see, you already have some records in there, and you just want to. Okay, it's reading the skill. So it's a little bit cumbersome to do it this way, the one-off way. That's why putting it into a schedule where it's automatically going to do this behind the scenes, and there's different ways we can set that up. So here it's saying the record ID. So I'm going to go ahead and plug in the record ID that I just copied from the record up here. And so now it's going to go through all of this. We can take a look at how quick this is while it's going through it. And this is the free version of it, so I would have to upgrade. Based on down here, selecting what model you use, it can be a lot faster. So this is one of as you can see, low. It's one of the slower options. So he's got the record, or they've got the record. Now let me research. They're searching the web. It's looking at all kinds of facets of the company and of Gus himself. And we should get a result. So what it's going to do, and you can fast forward here a little bit if you wanted to, is it's going to then create a comprehensive note for the company, the individual, background stories, etc. So let's see how this continues here. I might actually press pause just to save you the time. But this is the idea of the skill. So the skill as it's written up is now running based on those instructions. So it goes everywhere in the internet, assesses things, research things, kind of see how does it compare to what our company does, and then it's going to spit out the note. So it looks like plenty of research. It's looking in the CRM to see what we have. Now I do have additional fields that are in there that were added by the test I just did prior a few moments ago. Okay, so now it's going to post the research note. You can see this has been like a minute and a half or so, something that would have taken hours to do, if not, over a series of days when you break up doing this kind of research. It now can do it within a couple minutes. So, and this is even on the slow one, the Sonnet 4.6. So it's going to come over here. Right now you can see there's no notes in it, and these fields were populated from the last search or test that I did. So let's see how we're doing over here. It's creating the note now. So based on the skills that we created, it's doing this. So next thing is in the, for those that are doing the course, there's some bonus material. We're going to look at how to tweak this and add some ratings and things to it. We'll see that. Otherwise, again, with the skills, pretty straightforward. You just kind of work with a little bit, setting them up. That anything with AI right now is really about your prompts, not so much just the silly chatting, but more like specifically, hey, I want to get this information out of my database, which is Zoho CRM in this case, and I want to then search it. Then I want you to get me a note back and then summarize it and show me the likelihood of this person actually moving forward with us, and then update the other relevant information on that record. Okay, come on, create the note. Okay, so I'm on the free version. I'm glad this actually was recorded. So on the free version of it, there's limitations. And you can see you hit your 5-hour message limit. It resets at 4:20 p.m. That is funny, actually. So I'm not going to upgrade right now, but there was note that you could see it. And then the other record that I have in there, David Adkins, you can see what that one looks like with the results of it. Where are you at, David? Right here. And you look at the notes on that one. Again, so how comprehensive this is based on the skills and what instructions you give it. So if I go back over here and we look at the skills, step 1, step 2, step 3, look at the person and company, business model, mark junk or solicitation, write and post summary note. So it's got all this, and all of this was not, again, typed by me. It was actually working with AI to then build and build and build and build on this to get to this point. So that's skills. So this one will be a very short video. It's really now saying, okay, let's schedule the skill that we just created. So here's an example of one, very similar. So new website lead research. So it's going to run. So the instructions, if I were to have created one new, I would name it, and I'll show you. I'll just go ahead and create one so you can see what typing this in looks like, and then put in a description for it, and then you simply just say run whatever the skill is. That's all. And here we have set as daily frequency at 2 in the morning. That allows for less tokens to be used. And so you can get more done overnight than you can during prime time, which is obviously business hours. Okay, so that's as simple as the schedule. And this is what it would look like. So new task, set up manually. New, and I'm doing a space here and it puts a hyphen. Well, it will put a hyphen, rather. New you can see will be saved as new hyphen research test. And you put in your description, then run as, and then you can say frequency here is manual or hourly. Because of how I have the verbiage in the skill itself, it runs every 24 hours. So if you wanted to do it more frequently, then you can. You can put that logic in it to say when was the last run, just do it since then, and you can set it up for hourly. I guess it depends on more your volume and then also the tokenization, how much you're using during the day. Do you really need to do that research? It probably depends. I mean, if you're B2B and sometimes your sales cycles are longer, then it doesn't matter. If it's overnight from a new lead that comes in, you could still outreach that person. You could probably still one-off if it looks like an interesting lead that came in. If you're B2C, it's going to be a little different. You're probably not researching many consumers out there, so may not be relevant. But you probably could look at the address. You're a roofer or something like that. Look up the address and see if you can surmise something with some skills to be able to check out what that possibility is. So we'll probably do some other videos on different use cases like that in the Zoho Academy as well. But that's it. Then you just save it, and then it's going to run like this every day. You can see at 2 a.m. That's all there is. That's a very simple step there. Well, that's a wrap. Hopefully you got some value out of that, seeing how to go through that process to create your first research AI bot of sorts. If you liked it, subscribe, put some comments down below as to what you thought about it, what we could do better. Also, if you haven't already, or not already a member, then look at the link in the description below, or at least a couple of links. One is to Zoho Academy in general, and the other is to this particular course. And there's also one for the membership as well. So we're going to be continuing to add videos. We're ramping this up now. Loving the AI abilities that we can do. So there's going to be a ton of use cases that we're going to continue to sharing with everybody, to share with everybody. So hope that helped. Have a great day